הקשובות לכל תחנוני. עם עוונות תשמעיה אדוני מי יעמוד. כי עמך צריכה למען תברך. קיוויתי אדוני כי בתה נפשי ולדברך עלתי. נפשי לאדוני משומרים לבוקר, שומרים לבוקר. יחל ישראל אל אדוני, כי עם אדוני החסד והרבה מופדות. והוא יפדה את ישראל מכל עוונותיו. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך ירפא החולים. Hesse, Daumen Benro, Tog Shachal Yisrael, Shirakom Tamur Befrat, Tog Shachal Hayazot, Yirakom Moshelem Ulfot and Nefesh Ulfot Agub, Tog Shachal Yisrael, Venomar, Amen. Amen.
Again, I would ask any of the small kids to please sit down, do not block the view. We're trying to as many people to see as possible. And I fully realize that no one's here to hear speeches. Open up the doors and guys, please. Okay, please, if you're sitting by there by the doorway, please sit down, sit quietly. I'm going to start very soon, and I can appreciate the space and the heat. I just have to say a few thank you to people who put in a lot of time, and I'll just do this chronologically. This Maimon really began about 2.5 years ago. I was speaking to Baruch Hirschfeld, Rosh Koil in Cleveland, was telling me about a Pidyon Peter Chamor they had there, and now I can see Eidos, where he had about 1,000 people, and Baruch Hashem, look around the room, this Maimon is a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. So about 2.5 years ago, we started, I approached Rabbi Neustadt, and together we started to set this up. But it's not quite as simple as you can look at the yellow pages and see, try to find the before donkey. So after a number of searches, I encountered a woman without whose help this would not have happened. And we have to publicly thank Miss Lori Babcock-Wargo. She's here. I hope she can hear me. She's here. About a year and a half ago, we went down to her farm in Middlefield, Ohio, and Rabbi Neustadt and I bought 3 donkeys. Unfortunately, we weren't able to be able to have this mitzvah performed then, but brought us to step 2 in the process, where Lori took it upon herself to introduce us to a friend of hers, Miss Becky Labs, who is from Mattawan, Michigan, not far from Kalamazoo, and she's also here today. And about 6 months or so ago, Rabbi Neustadt and I went down there, where we purchased 6 donkeys, who again, that were fit to be able to perform the mitzvah with potential. And the rest, as they say, is history. So without their help of Lori and Becky, this tremendous gathering would not be happening today. Thank you. Also on our trip to Mattawan, Michigan, taking time out of his schedule because he was so excited in the mitzvah and became a partner in this endeavor, is Dr. Ruvain Tawil. And he put up with a lot of the jokes. No, he was not brought to do ultrasounds. No, he was not brought to see what the story is. But he came because he's interested in the mitzvah and was very excited to be involved with it from the beginning to the end. And put his time and his energy where his thoughts were. I wanted to thank him for his efforts. As it became looking more and more likely that this was going to come together, we had more people without whose help this couldn't have happened. First, I have to publicly thank Mr. Baruch Rothenberg, who gave of his time and energy to put together the poster, the mailing, the input, time, and planning the event without Rabbi Shlomi Newman, deciding when to do it, how to do it, to accommodate Chol Hamoed, it's not an easy thing. And these people have full-time jobs and occupations and are otherwise preoccupied. To give their time and energy is very worthy of a thank you. Continuing on. You wouldn't think that once you have to find the right donkey, you have to be a bachor, you have to be able to have pedigree, be able to know what it is that you're buying. You'd think that would be harder. But I can tell you that getting the sheep was every bit as hard, if not harder, throughout this process and putting them together. And he's not here today, but Rabbi Yehuda Amsel spent hours and hours on the phone with Rabbi Krupnik, who is here today, with Rabbi Neustadt, putting this all together. And finally, there's also one person who didn't want me to thank him, so I'm thanking you now, and you know who you are. But, anonymous for an undisclosed reason. Okay, thank you. And finally, also, in terms of these preliminary thank yous, no event like this, such a tremendous asifo, which I'm struck at looking around the room. Just take a look around. We have close to 1,000 people here, just about. And no gathering like this is complete without dedicated time and energy to learn the topic well. Rabbi Yisrael Meir Batchamovitz is here from Chicago. He put together the pamphlet that hopefully you saw outside. It's more floating around. The Rav Aaron Sorsher and Rav Asher Eisenberger to give again their time, their energy, their excitement to put together time to be involved in this so, and also worth very much a public thank you. Certainly, saving last, I want to thank Rabbi Neustadt personally and calling him up for what we're all here for. And I want to do that because of the only thank you that comes from me, because through this process, it's obvious. I mean, look around the room. I mean, we're all here because we want to connect, find a new and exciting way to connect to God. A way none of us have seen this before, I don't think, or very few of us. And we're here because it's exciting, it's fresh, it's new to connect, a new mitzvah, a new opportunity to connect to God. What I don't realize through this, and the message that I can say publicly here, is if we can just realize from this, if we can exude a portion of this excitement, a portion of this energy, to be able to daily minyanim, daily shiur, daily brachos, daily opportunity to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then we've had more than just a wonderful Chol Hamoed activity. And for that own realization that I came through this process with Rabbi Neustadt, I wanted to thank him for it publicly. And with that, call up Rabbi Neustadt for the
Is everybody trying to find the seats? You guys got to sit down. You got to go down. Nobody can see. Down. Everybody down. Nobody can see anything. The only way we can do it if people go down. You have to go down. Nobody's been able to see. It's not that high. Nobody can see. Please, everybody in the front, go down. Thank you.
Rishus all of the guests, all of the members of the Detroit Jewish community who are here today for a historic occasion. Certainly for the first time in the history of the Detroit Jewish community, this mitzvah is being performed, and not just being performed, but being performed with such majesty. The Roiv Am Hadras Melech, over 1,000 people are here to witness the performance of a very rare and unique mitzvah. And I have to admit that I was wrong. Initially, when we began this trek, I was very skeptic about it. I figured, who's going to come already? We're going to have 100 people here. Is it worth all the effort? Is it worth all the toil? But Detroit has proven us wrong, and we have such a tremendous lineup, such a tremendous ceremony. So many people are here to share and to connect to a mitzvah which is rarely being ever performed. The truth is that once this became publicized, there's been many comments being thrown around the community. What exactly are we doing here? There's a lot of confusion. Many people have never heard of the mitzvah of Pidyon Peter Chamor before. One woman called the office in the Vad, and she said that they heard they were making a para aduma. So yes, there's a lot of confusion out there. But it's important to speak out that the Torah already tells us in today's Torah reading, we read this morning in the parasha of Kadashni Kol B'chor, Ba'atam B'Behema Peter Korechem. And the Torah says that when this mitzvah will be introduced to Klal Yisrael, the child will see it and he will say, Mazois, what is this? What are we doing over here? The exact same question that everybody in Detroit is asking, Mazois, is something that the Torah forecast is going to be asked by the children of Klal Yisrael for all generations. What kind of strange mitzvah is taking place over here? A mitzvah that we have to redeem a behemoth tmeya, a donkey, with a behemoth tahira, with a seh. What a very strange mitzvah, and if you don't redeem it, the halacha is that you have to waste it, you have to destroy the donkey. Why would the Torah give us such a mitzvah? And there's many different levels of understanding it. Just to be very short, we have to understand the context of how this mitzvah was given. It's interesting. Klal Yisrael just went out of Mitzrayim last night. Just on the same night they went out from Mitzrayim. The very first mitzvah that the Jewish people are given, right away, they're not talking, Hashem doesn't talk to them about Shabbos. It doesn't talk to them about kashrus, but the very first mitzvah is Zachar. It says, Hayoim hazeh sheyitzasem Mitzrayim. The Torah gives, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, tell the Jewish people about the mitzvah of Pidyon Peter Chamor. Nothing, they're so busy, they just left Mitzrayim, they didn't unpack yet. They're still eating their matzahs. And Hashem says, waste no time, but you got to discuss the mitzvah of Pidyon Peter Chamor with Klal Yisrael. And the reason for that is, apparently this was something that needed to be told to them right away. Because just the evening before that, they went through a traumatic experience of Makas B'chayros. All of the firstborn were supposed to be destined to be killed out together with the firstborn of the Mitzrayim. And the Rebbeinu Shalom did a tremendous nace, and he saved and redeemed the Jewish firstborn children, and they were saved from the Makas B'chayros. So these people were all survivors. This was the Sheres HaPleita. They went through a terrible experience, and they finally were able to survive it, so we need to commemorate the survival of the B'chayros. This is something that they needed to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom immediately. What a great nace happened on our behalf. And Hashem says, waste no time. Before you unpack, before you talk about anything else, speak about Hakaras HaTov to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Recognize the nace that Hashem did for Klal Yisrael. That's first and foremost the first mitzvah that the Jewish people were given immediately post Yetzias Mitzrayim. But we still don't understand 100% why was it given a chamor and a seh? Why is it with other animals that are not involved, a horse, a camel, it's only a chamor and a seh, and we have to redeem it, and if we don't redeem it, we have to waste it. A very difficult mitzvah to understand. But we find in the Rishonim that explain to us a very deep idea, just worth sharing before we actually perform the mitzvah. We should understand the symbolism behind the mitzvah. The Rishonim explain that Mitzrayim is compared to a chamor, asher b'sar chamorim bisram. Klal Yisrael is symbolized by a seh, like the pasuk says in Yirmiyah, Sef Zura Yisrael, Chad Gadia. The Gdi represents Klal Yisrael. When Hashem came to Paro and he told him, let my people go, send the Jewish people out, ve'avduni, and they shall worship me, Hashem was giving Paro a choice. Either redeem the Jewish people, let go, the Chamor should allow the Seh to become free, or if you don't listen to me, it's going to be Ba'araftoi, Hashem told Paro. We're going to waste you away, you're going to suffer terrible punishments and consequences if you don't do the Pidyon. Paro was given a choice. Either redeem the Seh, or the consequences of being wasted away is going to be your lot. And Hashem told him, if you don't redeem Klal Yisrael, that's how you're going to be wasted. That's how the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to punish the Egyptians. And then when Paro had a choice, Paro refused to accept the choice. Paro says, I'm not going to redeem them. I'll challenge the Rebbeinu Shalom. I will see what he could do to me. And the Rebbeinu Shalom was Mekayim the mitzvah va'araftoi on Paro. He beheaded Paro. He took away the b'chayim for Paro at the head of Paro. And this is the choice that Paro made. And because of that, we commemorate that choice. We give every owner of a Peter Chamor, we're giving the same choice. Either redeem yourself, either elevate yourself, either exchange the tumah to the tahara, to the chumrius, to the ruchnius, or ba'arafta, you will suffer the consequence. And herein lies the tremendous message of this mitzvah. We all face choices. We all have consequences to our choices. The Rebbeinu Shalom calls upon everybody here who's joining us in the mitzvah today. Make the proper choice. Get rid of the chumrius that exists inside every person. Try to elevate yourself. Be involved in mitzvahs, in rare mitzvahs, in common mitzvahs, whatever mitzvahs that a person has a choice what to do, either pidyon or the consequence of ba'araftoi. The Rebbeinu Shalom should give all of us the seichel and the deya to be able to make the proper choice, and also to be able to mekayim rare mitzvahs such as this one. There are many, many rare mitzvahs in the Torah. Most of them will only be applicable when Mashiach comes. Bizman Beis Hamikdash. And we're davening to the Rebbeinu Shalom today the same way that we undertook to perform this rare mitzvah which is applicable in Bizman Hazeh. You should give us the opportunity to be mekayim all of the mitzvahs with the karbanos, and all of the mitzvahs that apply only to Eretz Yisrael. It should be Ani B'Roichet Al HaChamar. It should be as Goel Tzedek B'Mher B'Yameinu the Mashiach should come. All of us should be able to celebrate and do the mitzvahs properly and be able to be zeicha for a shas rachamim be'ez rotzen u'fanecha b'schus the kiyum of this mitzvah. Okay, we have over here, to our left is the Peter Chamor, and to the right over here is the Seh, is the sheep. We're going to take the Kedusha right now. This Peter Chamor on our left is something which is forbidden for us to use. We're not allowed to benefit from it, we're not allowed to do any work with it, and we are going to, the only way we can remove that is by exchanging it for the sheep, which I also own. I own the Peter Chamor, I own the sheep. And I'm going to give the sheep to Rabbi Khan, who's the Kohen, that is going to accept the sheep and take it home and do with it whatever he wants to do. Hareini bo lefonecha im chamoiri umebakesh ani me'akoyim לפדויסוי בסה כאשר ציוונו בתורה הקדושה.
האם זה חמורך?
הם.
האם זה בכור לאמא? האם הוא בכור לאמא?
חמור זה בכור לאמא. שם ייחוד קודש ברוך הוא שכינתה רחימה רחימה ורחימה דחימה. הראינו במקאי מצוות הסמן התורה לפתוס פתר חמור זה בזה. מסתכן השרוש במקום עליון, ושנאמר בתורה בחפתר חמור תפתה בזה ולא יוסיף דבר אף כהן. וכסיב אכפא דתפתה אסבחור וסבחור מהם תראה תפתה. יהיו לרצוי למרפי וגיון לביל לפניך אדוני צורי וגוי עלי. ויהי נוים אדוני אלוהינו עלינו ומעשה ידינו כהננו עלינו ומעשה ידינו כהננו.
Only 45 pounds. He has to pick it right. I owned it. Do I have any more
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על פדיון פטר חמור.
אמן.
הנה לך הסה הזה בפדיון פטר חמור.
קיבלתי ממך עשה הזה לפדוס פטר חמור חייך, הריפודי מעכשיו כדסמר של ישראל, ואתה כשם שזכית ומצוות פדיון פטר חמור, כי תזכה לקיים כל המצוות אמורות בתורה.
אמן. Sure that everybody understands that without Rabbi Rose, this occasion would not have taken place.
child here at the front, so look around. If you're missing somebody, they're probably at the front. This little boy. You need to Dima Adazava.